Hello, my name is Dean Contover. This is Current Buzz. Thank you for watching today. Today we have Chief Spinney, first name James, right?
Yep.
And he's going to talk about policing in Chelmsford. You know, a lot of questions I have that's going around Chelmsford, things that I see. And if you have any complaints, make sure you call the police department. That's what they want you to do. But if you do, don't call 911 if it's not an emergency. There's a number out there that you can call, and we're going to put it up there for you to look at. And please call that number, okay? I think it's up there now, and we'll put it up periodically so you can write that down. So it's very important that you take down that number. Am I correct, Chief?
Yeah, no, first of all, thanks for having me, Dean.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Yeah, 911 should be exclusively for an emergency, an ongoing emergency that's happening right then. It's a direct line to the Chelmsford Police facility, and that's the quickest way for us to get help to anybody that needs it. But what we don't want to see is people using the 911 system for obviously a non-emergency or something that happened a few days ago that you just want to report. Because there's only so many lines.
Right.
So those lines really should be reserved for a true emergency.
Right, okay. Question I have, how long have you been police chief?
So going on 5 years.
Wow.
It's gone by very quick.
Yeah.
I've been with the department for 25 years.
25 years.
And I had a few years up in New Hampshire where I started.
Okay.
So in total, I'm in my 29th year.
Wow. Wow, good for you. I have some questions of late. A big issue has come up in regards to policing, in regards to mental health. A lot of police officers say that they've never seen so many problems in regards to mental health. Is that true, or is that a misnomer?
No, it's absolutely true. I don't know if you saw a town meeting. I actually got up and spoke because the town manager has brought another person on board in town, a community services coordinator.
Okay.
And in my opinion, it was something that's truly needed. We are seeing unprecedented levels of mental health issues in town now. In 2018, we had almost 300 incidents of someone suffering from a mental health issue.
Wow.
And the vast majority of those ended up with what we call an involuntary hospitalization. And what's happening is the officers are tied up longer at calls now. So the officers just don't show up and clear in 5 minutes anymore. When someone's having a mental health crisis, they can be tied up there for an hour.
Wow.
So that's a resource that's tied up, and we're glad to do it, but they're hard calls to work through because you want the person to find a solution.
Would you need backup also? I mean,
depends if there's a violent, if the call comes in that the person is in a frame of mind that's potentially violent, then that'll be a multiple officer response.
Right, so that's tying up at least two officers.
Right, and then once things calm down, oftentimes one officer will leave, the other officer will try to help the person and their family, get on the phone or go to a facility.
Okay, so this new guy that's going to be hired, or woman that's going to be hired, will they be on call, or how would that be?
Well, it's gonna be from the ground up. We're going to work this to make it the best it can be. My understanding is going to be this person is going to be at the town offices, and they're going to facilitate people getting the resources they need. So an example could be the police department deals with somebody 10 o'clock at night. We would call this new employee the following day, let them know what happened, and then this person could call that victim and help them.
Oh, that's good. At least it's follow-up.
Right, and my recommendation is going to be whoever this person is gets deployed with an officer for a week or two to kind of get a lay of the land.
I see.
And come to the PD, do some training.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be a great thing.
Okay. You were talking about violence. There's a big issue with domestic violence in this state, in this country. How is it handled in Chelmsford?
Well, it's one of our most serious calls.
Is it?
And it goes across all spectrums of class, income. We deal with hundreds and hundreds of domestics every year, and they can be dangerous. People are very passionate. You're entering someone else's home. Oftentimes, one of the parties does not want you there. Sometimes both parties don't want you there. But when we're notified of a disturbance, we have to go to make sure that everybody's okay.
Right.
So, obviously,
how do you find out? Is it a 911 call?
That would be a true 911 call. Oftentimes one of the parties calls us to say that they're engaged in an argument with the other.
Okay.
Sometimes a neighbor will call saying that they can hear their neighbors yelling and screaming. The officers get there, determine that there is a problem, and we have to get in. We have to make sure everybody's safe. So the goal is to get in there, separate the parties, facilitate some type of ending.
And make sure the children are safe if there's children.
And if there's children, we have to do follow-up with Department of Children and Families. if it's something that needs follow-up.
Right.
You know, we all can get in verbal arguments.
Right.
But if it gets to such a level that we see there's a potential problem or a safety issue, then the officer will follow up with those agencies as well.
What happens if one of the parties struck the other person, or they both struck each other?
Well, when you have mutual combatants, the goal is not to arrest everybody.
Right.
You try to, the officers through an investigation of the scene will try to determine who the aggressor is.
I see.
And then if the aggressor committed an assault and battery, the preference is to place that person in custody because you want to make sure the other person is safe.
For one night?
Well, it depends on the bail commissioner.
Oh, okay.
There's a minimum of 6 hours.
Oh, okay.
And then that gives the victim the opportunity to request the person be held or find another safe place to go for the night. So what we do is when we make an arrest on a domestic violence, we call the Lowell District Court bail clerk. We'll explain the call to them, and then they'll make a determination if the person is able to be released.
I see. Okay. The other question I have, this is local. There are less accidents in Drum Hill Circle, or I call it Square now. Are there less accidents because of the new lights, or more
Yes,
accidents?
the short answer is yes, but when there is an accident, it's severe. When it was a circle, there was daily accidents up there.
Right,
if
I
you
know.
remember.
Yeah,
Everybody
right.
rear-ended each other
Right.
because they're all looking to their left.
Right.
Since it's become a square with traffic signals in every corner, it's much more controlled. We found that when there are accidents up there, it's usually from one of the highway ramps where someone has failed to navigate the light and they've gone through the intersection at 40 miles an hour.
Right.
And T-boned another car. It's been rare. There's only been a couple.
Right.
So it did accomplish what it was supposed to do because we were literally up there every day for rear-end accidents.
Right. I know. I see cruisers up there in the morning, in the evening, and they. I think I know which one coming south on Route 3. That ramp.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. That's the bad one.
That's the bad one.
Because it's such a long ramp.
Right.
And we've had a lot of reports of people running the light there. So oftentimes the officers will set up on the bridge. That's what you're seeing.
Right, yeah, right.
And he's making sure that everybody adheres to the light.
Right. That's where that gentleman was injured or
Yes.
expired. Somebody was making a right.
So I believe in that case, someone came across the highway heading towards Old Westford Road.
Yeah,
he was in the crosswalk in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and he was struck.
Yeah. That was a sad case.
Yes.
Another incident that I've seen of late, and I've heard somebody on the radio say, those yellow lights in front of the school, they should be shut off when the kids are in school. And everyone should go 20 miles an hour, especially on Richardson Road, where it's newly paved. The speed limit is high there. And I'm sure what's the other, South Row School, there's a problem there.
Yep.
And is there anything being done about that? Or
Well, for the longest time, they did flash all day.
Right. No, they don't go off. I mean, they flash all day. That's
Yeah.
the purpose of it,
Yeah.
because that's the law.
Right, and
You're supposed to go 20 miles an hour through that.
Right.
And a lot of people don't.
No, so what we try to do, when we get these reports, we'll increase our enforcement in those areas. We'll deploy our speed radar boards
Right.
as an extra warning. I have a list of people in different neighborhoods that are requesting the signboards, et cetera. So we try to accommodate that the best we can. We have 2 of them actively running, but we can't deploy one of them in the winter. We can't deploy the trailer one in the winter because the curbings are full of snow.
I see.
So we have a solar one we use that goes on a telephone pole, but it's smaller.
Yeah, right.
So we'd like to get the trailer ones out more. So now that the warmer weather is finally here, well,
I noticed
somewhat.
that some of the school districts have the written speed limit
Yeah.
machine going through the school districts. Is there any possibility of that happening?
I guess we could look into it
Yeah.
with the school department. They control those signs.
Oh, I see.
I think it should be standardized across the district. They should all have the same one.
I see.
Make it as noticeable as possible.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of Richardson Roads, there's a dog park there. I've read in the police log, there's a few problems there. Explain that. Can you
Yeah,
explain
so when that first opened, what are we going on, 2 years now?
Yeah.
That was
At
we
least-
had a lot of problems there at first.
Is that right?
We had people assaulted.
You're kidding me.
No, you put pets with people, and passions run high. We had dogs in the inappropriate area, big dogs in the areas for little dogs. So then one owner would have a confrontation with another owner. Your dog's not supposed to be in here, and the next thing you know, someone's being threatened, someone's being shoved. We even had a case where a woman pulled a pistol on a gentleman. Luckily, it was not a real firearm, but he did not know this.
Right.
So she was actually charged with
Right.
assault dangerous weapon because she put him in fear. But this is over a dog park. I'm glad to say we just banned someone about a month and a half ago
You're kidding me.
for inappropriate behavior.
No kidding.
So
you wouldn't know that.
yep.
You know, I mean,
So luckily it's
passions
settled
run
down.
high.
Yeah,
That's animals.
It got to the point where we had an officer doing foot patrol a couple summers ago, hanging around there
You're
because
kidding
people
me.
were just not behaving. So, but it's settled down. I'm glad to say it's settled down.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should do news on that or something like that. CTM
People
news.
and their animals.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So we talked about flashing. What about firearms? Firearms are something that people talk about and they're passionate about that too.
Yes.
What's the procedure if they're new to Chelmsford and they've had firearms? They can't have firearms unless you allow them to get a permit.
So an FID card allows you to have a rifle.
Okay.
You need a license to carry to have a pistol.
What about mace or?
You don't need it. It's pepper spray now.
Pepper spray.
You don't need anything anymore. You used to need an FID card,
yeah,
but you
okay.
don't anymore.
You don't.
Right.
So I could give that to my daughter.
So you can sell them on a little keychain.
Yeah.
Yeah. They figured that's a self-defense type of thing that people should have access to, and I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So good. I'm sorry in regards to the pistol permit.
Yeah, so if someone,
What's the procedure?
if you're a resident of Chelmsford and you moved into town and you don't have a license to carry or it's expiring, you need to register with us now. So you'd have to come to the police station, make an appointment with one of our detectives,
Right.
who has the procedure to do it. There's fingerprinting, there's photographs. We have to do a background check. That background check goes to the FBI and the state police.
Oh, it does.
Takes a couple months.
All right.
And then,
Do you fingerprint the people?
Yes.
Oh, you do.
And that gets
Okay.
matched up with databases across the country.
Okay. You don't take DNA of
No.
anybody. Okay.
Nope, and as long as there's no disqualifiers, like, so I get every person that applies for license to carry gets in front of my desk, and if there's any disqualifiers, like in other words, you were convicted of a felony, then you can't get it. So I would deny that. There's also other disqualifiers are if you commit an unsafe act after you have your license to carry, like a suitability issue, let's say, like we respond to your house for a domestic assault and battery. Even if you didn't assault the person, let's just say that the person acted in such an unruly way, an unsafe way, we can revoke the license to carry based on suitability.
I see.
And there is an appeal process.
Right.
So if that action was to happen and the person felt that wasn't fair, they can go to Lowell District Court and ask to have that looked at.
I see. Okay. And it's $100 for the license, and you have to go through firearms training, right?
You have to show that you did.
That you have to
And
show.
if you have not, then you would have to.
You,
Yep.
you would have to.
Yep.
Okay. And I think that's in the $150 range.
Yeah, it's in that range.
Something like that.
Yep.
So you'd have to go through the firearm, and that would be at the local sportsman's
Sure,
club.
I think we have a number of them that we recommend to use in the area, and you'd have to show proof that you attended that. $100 fee for the processing. It takes a month or so to get it back from the state police, and then I think it runs 5 or 6 years. 5 years, I believe.
Right. And if you're over 70, it's for free.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
see
good.
that? Well, I mean, I'm getting up in there.
Wow.
So I'm,
We're all heading that way.
So I just want to talk about, they're going to pass a new law in regards to cell phones, right? That means, and I see it
do I.
blatantly, it's out of hand, really.
It is out of hand.
It is out of hand.
So let me say a couple things about that.
Okay.
The genie's out of the bottle.
All right.
I am very happy and pleased that the state is moving this way so we can join almost every other state in New England. But you're right. I see it every day. It is out of control. The driver inattention, most of the accidents we get downtown, driver inattention. They're doing everything but paying attention, and the phones are a huge problem. So I'd like to see this law passed. I don't know. I'm hopeful that it's going to make a big difference. I'm skeptical because I think people, they're so ingrained with their habits.
Yeah, exactly.
unless they actually get stopped themselves, it's going to be hard to put this back. Because as a society, we've become so accustomed to basically using that device no matter what we're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Waze,
Yes.
the app, right?
Yep.
Waze, a lot of people use Waze in regards to mapping and getting around.
Yep.
I saw it in Boston the other day. The guy was playing with his Waze, and it was.
Yeah.
It
I've
was
seen
crazy.
people FaceTime.
Now, would that the Waze thing, if they had that on their phone and they're tapping into it? while
My
they're
understanding is
driving?
the way that it's not done yet, but the last update I saw is you're allowed to do several taps, but you cannot be actively engaged in the device, touching it. You could
So in
probably
other words, I
swipe.
can't have it on.
Yeah, you can't have it out. You could do a swipe to maybe activate the Waze, but then it would have to become hands-free through either verbal commands. And I think they're going to continue to improve those things because
Right.
they know that people shouldn't be doing it when they're
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah.
But any step is a positive step, but it's really it's pretty chronic,
Yeah.
like you said.
It is.
You see
yeah.
it everywhere.
Yeah. There's no doubt that in regards to accidents. Talking about accidents in regards to what I've seen is that Route 3 North,
Yeah.
right, at the merge of 110. Picturing that?
Yeah.
There's 2 lanes with 3 lanes.
Yeah.
And some of the in the 2 lanes, some of those people are really flying coming up there, and it merges and it merges. A lot of accidents there.
It's weird. The Lowell Chelmsford line is right there.
Right.
It's a strange line how it runs, so we don't get notified on all those, and the state police handles most of them anyway.
Okay.
So I can't tell you how many there's been. I know it's been a share of them there.
Right. Do you think there should be lights put up there like they have on 495?
I know. You're right. I mean, a lot of times you see 2 major roadways like that either coming together or there's a lane reducing. I think that's a fantastic idea. Just an extra alert to drivers that look at the roads changing in some way.
Yeah.
Slow down a little.
Yeah.
So that's obviously something we could have a conversation with the state on. I always get concerned when you see the big cement barriers that all of a sudden you'll come on. You're on the highway and there's a big cement divider dividing the highway as it splits.
Right.
I think those need some serious.
Be lowered or
Well,
so you
some
could
lighting,
visually
so maybe
see?
some flashing lights on those.
Oh, okay.
Because you can come up on those quick. And if
Yeah.
you're unfamiliar with the area,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so I think every little bit helps.
Yeah, definitely. So I think there should be some sort of lighting, or at least some warning. Merge, major merge, or something. Something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just thought I'd bring that out. 495 and Route 3. If there's an accident there, Chelmsford Fire responds,
Yes.
right? And do you guys respond?
We would go, so we'll find out about accidents. People, when they call 911 from their phones now, it comes
Right.
to this Chelmsford Police Station.
I see.
Unless if they're actually on the highway, it's supposed to bound to the state police, but it's not a perfect technology.
Yeah.
So when we find out there's an accident, if we know if it's a bad accident, we just go. If it's a minor accident, we'll notify the state police, and unless they tell us that they're way out of position, they'll go. But if they were to say to us, "Oh, a trooper's far away," then we would go, and then we would handle it until they got there.
Until they got
But a serious one, we will go because
Okay.
obviously the
Yeah.
officers have medical. We want to respond right away. We would never just not go up.
Yeah.
So
So in other words, if there was an accident on Route 3 or 495 in the vicinity, you would respond first, and then once the state police, it's their jurisdiction, then
Yep.
you'd peel off.
right. So if they said they were all set, if
Yeah.
they didn't need us to be there anymore, we'd clear our units because, if we have 3 units up on the highway, now
Yeah.
they're not in town.
Yeah, right.
So
Right.
yeah.
So the state police, if it's on those highways, then there would be, the accident report would be from the state police.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. And that's good you bring that up because a lot of times people will come to our station saying, "Oh, I was in an accident on Route 3.
See, I knew that
Can I have the report?" And,
Yeah.
and our records employee will be like, "We didn't go there." So
Yeah.
people need to understand that.
Yeah, so all the state highways basically are covered by the state police, and then you have to go to state police barracks to get the accident report.
Right.
And
I don't know if they provide them online. I'd like to think that they could start doing that. Where you
why
could-
do you guys provide?
some reports we do.
Do you?
Yeah. If you were to email us,
What if they had my phone number or something like that? I mean, do you block that out because?
well, it would be your email. If you wanted a copy of the report, you could email.
Oh, okay.
You could email the records clerk.
But you wouldn't put it up?
No. No, we wouldn't post that.
Yeah, okay.
No, we would just respond to you, okay. We have like 10 days to do it, because a lot of times we get a lot of records requests. And
Is that right?
some of them take, oh yes, we have.
From lawyers or just from?
You name it.
Yeah, okay.
We have some residents in town that make a lot of inquiries about a lot of things. And anything that's a public record that we're able to give out, we do. Some things have exemptions, like a medical. We can't release those.
Okay.
Or a domestic violence situation, we can't release those.
Okay.
But anything else, as long as there's not an exemption, it's a public record, and we have to release it. But we have a certain amount of time to do it, because it takes redaction.
Right.
And it takes, filing time and whatnot. So we do the best we can, but we get a lot of requests for records, and most of them are email now.
You were talking about resource officers earlier, so let's talk about that. You wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, so I was very pleased at spring town meeting that the town meeting reps funded an additional police officer in town. So that additional police officer will allow us to put a third full-time school resource officer into our school system. So now the McCarthy School, the Parker School, and the high school now will have a full-time school resource officer every day, all school year.
Is that taken away from the town? Or
No. Well, I pulled the other two out of patrol a few years ago because I felt it needed to happen.
Okay.
We had no school resource officers a few years ago.
Right.
So that was a priority for me. No, it doesn't hurt our coverage at all. We have over 30 patrol division officers deployed in town, and that's fine. But I couldn't have done this third one without town meeting giving me the extra officer.
Right, I remember that.
So I'm really excited about it. The officer, he's integrated with the students. He's a partner down there. He helps teachers with classroom. Obviously, he's at the school to provide security. But there's so much more than that, though.
Right.
He's really involved with the kids.
Good.
And,
There's something I'd like to bring up that I was doing research on in regards to Donald Adams.
Yes.
Can you
Yeah,
talk
so
about that a few minutes ago?
yeah, so this is Police Memorial Week this week, May 5th,
That's right.
May 16th, and we recognize and honor police officers across the nation that have lost their lives.
It was over 300 though last year.
Yeah,
think something like that.
it was in that range.
was, yeah.
But Donald Adams was killed in the line of duty in Chelmsford back in 1927. So we honor him every year at the Forefathers Cemetery. We have a presentation with our honor guard, and town officials attend. And we do that every year. We lay a wreath. And
When is that, every May 14th?
it's the first Monday of Police Memorial
Memorial
Week.
Week,
So this year we did it Monday.
Okay.
So, it's something we're always going to do to honor him and his family for their sacrifice.
Right.
And
It's the only one in town, right? I mean.
yes, so that's
Yeah.
it's one of my biggest
Yeah.
concerns. It's, as you know, the job has changed so much.
Yeah.
We don't know who we're dealing with out there. Chelmsford's a very, very busy community now, and we're very, very. We count our blessings that there's been no additional.
Yeah, I have a minute to go in regards. I want to talk to you about a gentleman that was a truck driver in Chelmsford about 10 or 12 years ago. There was a book about it, about him attacking a family in Chelmsford.
Big
Were you-
Leroy, Adam Leroy Lane, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, probably one of the most serious calls we've ever had in town. This this individual parked his truck on 495, snuck through the woods on a residential area in town, and tried to abduct a young lady. And the parents interceded, heard her screaming,
Right.
turned into a pretty violent altercation. They were able to keep him at bay. Officers arrived, and he was taken into custody. And after hearing from other PDs, he was linked to multiple homicides.
Across the country.
Across the country,
Right.
that he committed during his truck transits. Very, very dangerous individual.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most so we've ever dealt with.
Yeah, you guys were very lucky. We were very lucky
Yeah.
that nothing happened in
Because
town.
she could have easily been
Yeah.
taken, and it would have been a
Assaulted.
few leads.
Yeah.
Who would be thinking a truck driver?
I know.
You know, so yeah, that was a serious.
That rest area can be a problem, can't it?
Yeah, we've had disturbances out there,
Yeah.
but that worked out really well. Very, very good.